So Ricciardo's future is still hanging in the air, and we have no idea where the honey badger will end when it comes to the 2023 season. Now, after he agreed on buyout terms with McLaren, many thought he'll have lots of options when he hits the free agent market. After that turned out not to be true, Ricciardo is now heavily rumoured to sign a reserve driver deal with Mercedes, with his aspirations being to fight for top spots one day if he manages to hop in and sit in the Mercedes car anytime in the future. However, is this possible? What does Hamilton have to say about it? And how big are the chances that Ricciardo will actually settle for this role? This video goes over these questions, so stick around with us until the very end of it. Now, Daniel Ricciardo's reputation has taken a massive hit in his last tenure with McLaren, which is something that we aren't too eager to see. This has turned him into an unreliable asset, someone that isn't perceived as a driver he used to be in his Renault and Red Bull days, and that's probably why he has to settle for the reserve driver role in Mercedes. But there are more sides to the story, and we need to hear all of them and see why Ricciardo's role in Mercedes could be a reality for the 2023 season. Now, it's been reported that Toto Wolff has been in extensive talks with Ricciardo about this potential role, and that's something that Ricciardo could very well capitalise on in order to secure a seat in Mercedes in 2024. Numerous reports have initially said that Hamilton plans to retire at the end of the 2023 season, since he doesn't have a contract for the 2024 season and beyond, but this is very unlikely to be the realistic outcome of things. The rumours have taken a very interesting turn when Ricciardo was seen exiting the Mercedes garage on Sunday at the Singapore GP. On top of that, Ricciardo spoke about his future with Perez during the drivers' parade at the Dutch GP, saying that he plans on sitting out the 2023 season and then conquering a seat in 2024. So, is this the right call for Ricciardo? Well, time will only tell, but if he wants to continue racing, he does have two more spots that are available on the grid, and that is in Haas and Williams. However, although Steiner has approached Ricciardo earlier this season, it's very unlikely they'll pursue the Aussie as the right candidate for that spot, given the fact that he's regressed a lot in performance and could have lost a ton of confidence when it comes driving an F1 car. But quickly before we move on, we've partnered with the official F1 store to bring the best Formula 1 merch and accessories out there. So check out the first link down below and you might even get yourself a juicy discount. So why would Ricciardo signing with Mercedes turn out to be the best possible outcome for him? Well, for starters, he'll have a shot for the Mercedes seat in 2024. He still plans on winning the world champion title, and no other team rather than Mercedes can offer him this role. True, Hamilton is very unlikely to retire beyond 2023, but in case he does, Mercedes doesn't have a proper replacement for him, as Kimi Antonelli is currently racing in F4. By the time he arrives in Mercedes, the team will have to fill in the potentially vacant spot left behind by Hamilton, and although it's likely they'll prioritise Russel in this wild scenario, Ricciardo will have a chance to prove himself on the track. If he opts to join teams like Haas and Williams, Ricciardo will fight for scrap points similar to what he did in McLaren. However, we all know that McLaren has a car that is much more capable than Ricciardo's performance, as we've seen by his teammate Norris. As for the backmarket teams, it's unlikely that Ricciardo would accept to drive in a team that wouldn't offer him a chance of being constantly in the points finish. McLaren did offer him that opportunity. The fact that he didn't capitalise on it is something else to talk about. Now, what's the issue when it comes to this scenario? Although Ricciardo is in advanced talks with Mercedes, and there isn't a way of him knowing that he'll hop in the Mercedes starting seat from 2024 and beyond, there are some hints that he could read. For example, Hamilton said on multiple occasions that he doesn't plan to retire anytime soon. For me, I feel healthier than I've ever felt, I'm feeling fit, I love what I'm doing, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. My goal is always to be with Mercedes. I signed with them in 1997. I love that we have the long partnership we have. I feel like we're embarking on a lot of really positive things, not only in the sport but outside, and I think there's a lot to accomplish together. I want to be a part of that. I think he's far too talented and he's earned the right to be amongst us all racing. If he's part of our team, that'd be great, but a third role is not really what's best for him. If I was managing him, he'd be racing. Finished Hamilton. This is something that was also said by Toto Wolff, who added that Hamilton's tenure in F1 could last for at least 5 years more. But quickly before we move on, we've partnered with the official F1 store to bring the best Formula 1 merch and accessories out there. So check out the first link down below and you might even get yourself a juicy discount. Wolff spoke about the opportunity of seeing Hamilton longer on the grid than anybody originally anticipated. Although Hamilton himself said that he doesn't plan to race in his 40s, according to Wolff, that's something that could realistically happen in the upcoming period, adding, "The advantage is we speak a lot together. Just last week we sat down and he says, look, I have another 5 years in me, how do you see that? Over time we've just grown together, we're totally transparent with each other. Lewis will be the first one to say, I can't do this anymore because I feel I haven't got the reactions anymore, or I've just lost fun doing it and there's another generation growing up that is just very strong. So I have no doubt that whatever we agree on a contract extension, which is going to happen, that we both are always going to discuss very openly what does the future hold. I don't know if 40 is that age where you say that it's not adequate anymore for a racing driver. If you look at where Fernando is with 41 years, he's still very much there. Now, is he the same Fernando that he was at 25? I don't know, but he's very competitive still. So Lewis, with the way he leads his life, with a full ultra-narrow focus on his Formula 1 racing, all the others are just hobbies. I think he can take it quite far. Now, what does Ricciardo have to say about his future? It's obvious that he has the opportunity to drive in a backmarket team and be the reserve driver in Mercedes as of now. Apart from this, there isn't another option in F1 that he can choose, and when speaking about what he plans to do in the upcoming period, Ricciardo added, I've certainly accepted if I'm not to be on the grid next year. I'm okay with that. I've accepted I'm not going to do everything, or my management team's not going to do everything, just to put me on the grid if it's not right or it doesn't make sense. Obviously, this year's been challenging, and if I am on the grid, I want to know it's at a place I can enjoy it and feel like I can thrive, an environment I feel I can thrive in. I don't want to just jump into a car for the sake of it. The Aussie also spoke about weighing the two most realistic options that he currently has in F1, and although rumours say that he is considering the Mercedes reserve driver role more than driving at the back of the grid, Ricciardo added, I mean, it's possible. These are all things I'm weighing up. What fighting at the front does when you've had that taste as well. It's real, you know, and that's ultimately where I want to be. So I guess I don't want to just go from race to race. I want to race with a true belief and understanding that I can be back on the podium ultimately. Where next year, if I'm not to be racing in F1, then I feel like there could be a blessing in all that. I mean, it could make me freaking start foaming at the mouth, wanting to get back. So that's why I'm pumped to be on the grid again, but I'm also seeing positives if that's not the case. So that's why I'm at peace with whatever's going to happen in 23, because I feel like everything is going to happen for a reason, and all these things will make sense. Having a few weeks off was good to get some headspace, clarity, all those things. Well, with that being said, what do you think about Ricciardo's next move? Do you think they'll settle for the Mercedes reserve seat, although it's unlikely that he'll replace Hamilton anytime soon? Let us know in the comments below.